Silatul Rahim is basically your blood relatives, grandparents, parents. These are in the first category, the first circle. Then you have your siblings, brothers and sisters. Then you have your uncles and aunts. Then you have your cousins. Cousins are your rahim, by the way. Even second cousins are your rahim. If you share with them a grandfather or a grandmother, then they are rahim with you. And it's an obligation to keep good ties with them. Now, the bare minimum of Silatul Rahim is not to boycott anyone or be on bad terms. Now, it depends who that person is. If it's your parents, then yes, you should regularly be talking to them, seeing them, visiting them, sending them letters, calling them. This should be regular with parents. But let's say with a second cousin, you don't have to do this every day. As long as socially in your urf, you are keeping ties with them. When Eid comes, you send them a message, you call them. You send them a gift, you, for instance, visit them. That is Silatul Rahim. The point is to always make it clear that I am on good terms with you. I will speak to you. I'm not boycotting you. That's the bare minimum of Silatul Rahim. Now, the more you do, the better. That's between you and Allah. The more you do, the more generosity, the more time you spend, the more Allah increases your life and increases your rizq and sustenance. But the bare minimum is not to cut them off. That's the first point. The second point, what if I have siblings, cousins, uncles, aunts? If I spend time with them, they do ghiba, they encourage me to do bad. What do? I have two suggestions here. Number one, you be the stronger person. Before they influence you, you influence them. When you get together with your relatives or even friends, go prepared, my dear brothers and sisters. Go prepared. Sit 1 hour, think. Tonight there's a gathering. There will be relatives. They're going to talk about useless things. Prepare interesting topics that they're also interested in. And when you get together, have a discussion. Get everyone's interest. That way you distract them from ghiba and anything that's nonsense. But this requires preparation. And remember that 1 hour of contemplation in Allah's path is worth more than 70 acts of ibadah. Yes, because that's ibadah. If tonight I have a program with my friends, and usually they talk about nonsense things, right? Or even haram things. If I sit and think for an hour, what should I talk about? Something interesting that will gain their interest and it's not haram and beneficial. If you spend 1 hour doing that, Allah will give you more ajr and thawab than 70 acts of ibadah. 70 rak'ahs of salah. Because you're helping your friends go to the path of Allah. That in itself is amazing. So think, knowing how your aunt is, your uncle is, your cousin, what is something good for me to start so they don't influence me? That's the first point. The second point, what if you can't help it? They've created this atmosphere where if you just hanging around them, you become more materialistic, you just fall into ghiba, you fall into sins. In that case, you limit your presence. See, don't boycott them. Call them, say salam to them, sit a few minutes, and then come up with an excuse. I have to work, I have to study. When you see the negative influence is starting, get up and leave. But don't make it in a way where you're cutting them off. Tell them I just have a busy schedule. I came here to say salam, show them some good akhlaq and leave. So if you believe that they're having a negative influence on you, don't spend time with them. Because you don't want to lose yourself, absolutely. And oftentimes it's relatives who make you deviate. Stay away from these people. Don't boycott them. Keep it very formal, casual, formal. Sometimes alaqat rasmiya, just to show that you are not against them, and that would be fine. If you live in a society and it's not normal for you to stay in touch with your second cousin, let's say, right? Do you have to constantly be in touch with them? No. As long as it's not considered boycotting them. See, in some cultures it is. If occasionally you don't see your cousin, say salam to them, send them a message, people will consider that, okay, do you have a problem with your cousin? But if you live in a culture that says, it's not even normal, it's abnormal for you to stay in touch with your cousin, let's say, as an example. In that case, it's not considered qat' al-rahim if you don't stay in touch with them. So whatever the society considers cutting ties is haram. As long as you're not cutting ties, it's okay. That's the first part. The second part, let's say some people, you have siblings, aunts, cousins, if you limit the time that you spend with them, like 5 minutes and you leave, they will take that offensively, and they will consider you boycotting them. What do? See, over here we have a priority. Saving my purity and my religion is priority. If being with them means that I'm going to lose my religion, Islam says don't lose your religion at any cost. Imagine, the Prophet's uncle was Abu Lahab. Right? Imam Ali alayhi salam has a beautiful statement. Some scholars used to cry when they would read this. They would cry when they would read this. He is describing Rasulullah. He says, قَطَعَ فِي اللَّهِ رَحِمَهُ. Imam Ali alayhi salam is talking about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa. He says a statement, some scholars used to cry when they would read it. He said Rasulullah, who had the amazing akhlaq, and he wanted to really guide his family and be good with them. He says what they did to him, like Abu Lahab and others, pushed the Prophet to do what? قَطَعَ فِي اللَّهِ رَحِمَهُ. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alih, he cut ties with some of his family for the sake of Allah. How? Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab, when he continued his enmity to Allah and he declared himself as an enemy to Allah, the Prophet ﷺ no longer embraced him, because now he became an enemy of God. See? Sometimes the believer might have to do that. So, in the end, your responsibility is signal to them, I'm not boycotting you. I say salam to you, I say Eid Mubarak, I'll sit 5 minutes. More than that, I cannot do. Come up with an excuse. So, you don't always have to tell them, don't lecture them. You guys are bad people, you don't fear Allah. They're like, oh, he's acting better than us. She's acting better than us. Don't say that. Just come up with an excuse. And even if they feel bad about that, it's not your fault. What's priority is for you to save your religion.